29 and I find myself wondering what did happen to the last 10. I ran away with my life, fast forward, never turn back again. It's kind of funny that the more we pass time, the more we need to set them rewind. And 19 was the year I had to leave you, but now I'm seeing all the signs.
Besides focusing on the camera, I've got 4 lenses from Panasonic. 24-105, 70-200, 18-1.8, S Pro 51.4, the gigantic monster. In addition to that, I have a Godox TT 685 Mark II Olympus mount. And that completes the review package. This is the S5 II, first test at near KLCC, Saloma Link, around 7 PM. Internal noise. Walk for a while, and we'll see how it works. Okay, heading towards Saloma Bridge right now. After stabilization. I'm going to take some photos and go back to the review later.
Is this really happening? I can't believe it's true. I'm just as surprised as you. Is this really happening? I can't be too sure, but one day I'll be yours again. Life lessons come 1 in a dozen. The other 11 get something from nothing. I sit here looking for an answer. Maybe the biggest question was in the last chapter. You gave me the soul I have today. Without you I never could have moved away. But now I see
Whatever review results, conclusion that you will see is a result of 10 days of testing. We begin by talking about the S5 II body. It is a medium-sized mirrorless body, nice grip, very ergonomic compared to the camera I've been using from a certain S brand. Not too heavy, not too light, inspires confidence, built relatively well. I won't say it's built like a tank, which is not, but solidly built. Let's talk a bit about the highlights of this body design. We begin by talking about the on-off switch. It is in a position where it is easily reachable, but not easily knockable or actuated by accident. Next up are these 3 buttons which I love. White balance, ISO, and exposure compensation at your fingertips. Press that, turn the dial behind, and you have got your adjustment done. Perfect. Let's look at this speed dial. It allows you to change from single mode to burst mode, to high speed burst mode, multi-exposure, and 2 timer modes. Is that all? No. Let's talk about the best design part of the S5 II body, the AF control dial that allows you to switch from AFS to AFC and manual focus, as well as the button in the middle for selecting focus mode. After 3 days of using this, I was able to use it blindly while looking through the viewfinder. Yes, before I forget, there are fan vents here, A built-in fan, which is mostly only for dedicated video bodies, is found here.
Life lessons come one in a dozen. The other 11 give something from nothing. I sit here looking for an answer. Maybe the biggest question was in the last chapter. You gave me the soul I have today. Without you I never could have moved away. But now I see what you teach. I do believe I always should have stayed. Yeah. Is this really happening? I can't believe it's true. I'm just as surprised as you. Is this really happening? I can't be too sure. But one day I'll be yours again. One day I'll be yours.
All right. Next on the list, we'll talk about the lenses. Starting from the 18 1.8. Its light is cute, but the image quality is good. It's certainly not built like a tank, but it's built good enough for most users. It also has a rubber gasket behind, which you cannot find in any C brand lens that basically doesn't have a red ring around it. Next, we have the 24-105 f4. It is built as well as any other 24-105 I've ever seen or used. Oh, 24-105, you don't really talk much about it, you just get it. Next, we have another zoom lens. This is a S Pro 70-200 f4. Now, this is built like a tank, solid, with a dovetail that is ARCA Swiss compatible. The S Pro 51.4, probably the largest 51.4. It's big, it's heavy, it's good. Now, alright, I'm backstage now at a school concert doing the event test for the S5 Mark II. Well, there are some issues. Yeah, really big issues. I'll talk about it more later.
Where it's possible for our students to have exchange program in Winona State University in the Ontario Secondary School Diploma. They can continue to pursue 2 years here and do the final year in the university in the UK.
President of the PTA, Mr. Ashwin, to maybe stand up and for all of you to give them a round of applause.
Life lessons come one in a dozen. The other 11 give something from nothing. I sit here looking for an answer. Maybe the biggest question was in the last chapter. You gave me the soul I have today. Without you I never could have moved away. But now I see what you teach. I do believe I always should have stayed. Yeah. Is this really happening? I can't believe it's true.
The autofocus for the S5 II is good, usable. For subject recognition, it is passable. Human recognition, again, is possible. Everything is around 50%, I guess, or maybe 55 out of 100. Yeah, so it's possible. Preferably, posing at the camera, you will have no problem with it. But if you have multiple people walking around, it gets confused sometimes. Certainly not great. This is the first generation, so and give it a bit of slack. Now, the reason I'm not so comfortable talking about the autofocus for the S5 II is that on the f4 lenses, in low light conditions, when it locks onto focus on a subject, the viewfinder or the LCD goes very, very dark. It's like dropping a couple of stops of light. And sometimes when that happens, the lock would be gone because basically the camera cannot see the scene at all. If you were to use primes, the f1.4 and f1.8, you see no such issue.
but now I'm seeing all the signs. Is this really happening? I can't believe it's true. I'm just as surprised as you. Is this really happening? I can't be too sure, but one day I'll be yours again. Life lessons come one in a dozen. The other 11 get something from nothing. I sit here looking for an answer. Maybe the biggest question was in the last chapter. You gave me the soul I have today. Without you I never could have moved away. But now I see what you teach. I do believe I always should have stayed. Yeah. Is this really happening? I can't believe it's true. I'm just as surprised as you. Is this really happening? I can't be too sure, but one day I'll be yours again. One day I'll be yours.
The screen darkening or image darkening issue is only confined to f4 lenses and in low light. Just a gentle reminder. The second issue is about the auto ISO issue for the Godox TT 685 II. What happens is that as soon as you turn on a flash and auto ISO mode on this camera, it always defaults onto the lowest ISO setting. That setting is available in the custom functions. That makes it very difficult to use for flash photography in fast-changing situations like events. If you set it using any manual ISO in any mode, M mode, S mode, A mode, doesn't matter, it will work properly, the flash will fire, and the subject would be properly lit. We have another issue. It is a custom setting called constant preview. This is a setting when turned on, it emulates a smartphone or any other digital camera in which your LCD or your EVF would show the exposure of the photo or the video captured when you press the shutter button or the record button. The problem with the S5 Mark II is that this setting is defaulted to off. What that means is that you will be looking at a proper exposure, whatever setting you set in the camera. To give you an example, for example, you were to set ISO 25600 in broad daylight. It would display as a normal exposure on the EVF and LCD. In fact, the histogram would also be correct in this camera if you set it to off. But after you've taken a photo, you look at the preview, it's completely overexposed. That has actually caused me many issues. One of the photo shoots that I've gone on, the model shoot, this has caused me endless pain. I can think of a reason why Panasonic engineers or Panasonic itself decided to default it to off. When I use it in low light on long exposures, what happens is that, let's say I have a 5-second exposure, the update will be so slow it looks like a slideshow, and it will be impossible to autofocus with if you set it to on in low light conditions with low shutter speeds. Regardless of that, for the S5 II, I recommend that if you were to take any photos at all with this camera, set that setting to on, leave it to on, and forget about it. In low light conditions, use manual focus.
I can't be too sure, but one day I'll be yours again. Life lessons come one in a dozen. The other 11 give something from nothing. I sit here looking for an answer. Maybe the biggest question was in the last chapter. You gave me the soul I have today. Without you I never could have moved away. But now I see what you teach. I do believe I always should have stayed. Yeah. Is this really happening? I can't believe it's true. I'm just as surprised as you. Is this really happening? I can't be too sure, but one day I'll be yours.
Finally, I have something very, very small, maybe inconsequential to talk about. Battery charging on the Panasonic cameras, on the S series at least. The S5 and S5 II both are able to charge using USB-C. But the problem is, after you have charged it to full, the light, LED light, goes off completely. When it's charging, it will be on. So there's actually no way for you to know that you have completed your charging unless you check the battery level. But the battery level in the camera doesn't have a percentage. It has only 5 bars. So you have no idea whether you actually gotten the battery to 100%, 98%, 95%, or 90%. The same goes for using this charger, DVLC1005Y. Okay. Again, the lights would go completely off once the charging is completed. Okay, one final note. I found that the shutter button on my review unit isn't very good. It is a bit stuck. I do not know whether it is a build quality issue or it's an issue with this unit, because this is, after all, a demo or review unit. So it could have been abused for the last 1.5 years. I have no idea, but do watch out for that. We have reached the final section. I will not be making any conclusions here because this is, after all, a review. I believe that you, the viewer or the reader, should make your own conclusions based on my photos, the facts that I'm giving you from this review. Let's continue with the summary of what I found. The S5 II has good image quality, great ergonomics, in my opinion, very good usability, very practical. It has a built-in fan to prevent overheating, which not many other cameras have, and especially at this price range. And talking about the price, it's quite affordable in Malaysia compared to all the other competitors. In terms of issues, the AF is now finally passable for most users, including professional usage, except for sports photography, for really fast-moving subjects and all that. There's also the issue with the f4 lenses in low light condition. Well, you want to shoot low light, consider buying some primes. The battery charging issue, the constant preview issue, which I think Panasonic should still be able to solve it for long exposures. And of course, there's the flash photography and auto ISO. Maybe they didn't really test it much for photography. After all, most people who buy the S5 II use it for video. Alright, that's all for the S5 II. Like it if you like it. Dislike it if you dislike it. If you have any questions or comments, leave them in the comments and I will try to answer them as soon as possible. Thank you. Goodbye.